Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so now finally, perhaps the most hyped, well definitely one of the two more hyped champion buffs. Now Bishop got a moderate buff, and as always with these videos, I'm mainly looking at damage output right here, not the changes of playstyle, not added utilities, none of that stuff. We're looking at how hard the champions used to hit and how hard they are hitting right now, and trying to compare what has changed and how much it has changed. So we're using the same mastery setup. We're going to be checking out Bishop with and without synergies pre-buff. This is Bishop without synergies. And then Bishop with and without synergies post-buff. And it is soon going to become quite evident that the damage was never really the Bishop's problem. I believe his main problem was kind of his viability, or where and why you would end up using Bishop. As we're going to see here, even with no synergies, we had like a very neat 27k crit there. So the damage is relatively solid. However, with synergies, it's going to be a bit different case there. So I'm not going to have you watch throughout the entire thing, but let's just check out those special 2s. So here's special 2, couple crits for 30 plus k. So that was like 100k special attack there. 6-star rank 1 Bishop, no synergies. Damage output definitely looks to be at the very bare minimum adequate. Right, so we're gonna fast forward to much later. Unfortunately, he seems to have very low crit rate, and that is kind of like the bigger downfall, I believe, of the champion, truth to be told. Right, so we're gonna finish it off here. I did get hit somewhere along the way, however, I also have lost quite a lot of health due to recoil and stuff like that. It's all good. So I dropped a level 1 here at the end, and I'm gonna do a couple of hits here. 1 hit more in block, 1 more. So the total amount of hits Bishop pre-buff was 118. Now let's take a look at Bishop with the synergy team. Now I wasn't using Bishop's kind of like regular synergies that allow him start with like more prowess and stuff like that. I'm using a bit more of the fancy variety there, where with Storm Pyramid X he gains a power gain buff and increases potency of his prowesses, and he has also increased special attack damage. We have synergy with Howard the Duck that increase prowess potency, and then with Mangog quite similar to that as well. And here we can see that immediately we are doing quite a lot more damage, and none of those hits crit. We're going to see very soon in the fight what happens when some of those hits do crit, and then we're going to be taking a look at completely different numbers already. Right, so here we have power gain active, and that's perfect. Let's drop that level 2, but unfortunately, again, nothing crit. Bishop seems to be pretty allergic to landing critical hits in general, and the duration of the fight, pre and post buff, pretty much entirely depends how lucky or unlucky you got with your crit RNG. But this special attack is quite interesting. So I have 30 prowesses. You can see we crit for 35k, another 35k crit, then we have another 35k crit. So that is like 100 plus k special, very easily. 100 plus k from pre-buffed Bishop. I'm gonna go for another one, and we have another doozy of a special attack. And let's just do it one more time, or maybe 2. I think 1 more will be pretty much enough. This last one is the best one. 41 promise buffs, 55k, 23k, 59k. That's 120,000 damage pre-buff Bishop, and that's a 71 hit finish. So that is very quick finish. Right, now let's check out Bishop post buff without any synergies. Let's remind ourselves it was about 100 and some hits previously. And now I do like his regen mechanic much better than I did before. I don't think I mentioned, because those are actual buffs that you can use to trigger, I don't know, buffet on purpose if you choose to. At times, I don't know why would you do that, but it's quite often handy and or convenient that it does count as a buff, even let's say for incursions, if you have a buff cornucopia, or on top of that, you also gain regeneration over time. It's just not a momental increase. So I don't know. I like his regen mechanic definitely better now. However, I will be using pretty much exactly the same playstyle in this video. Now, he also has more viable level 1 damage rotation, which we're going to take a look at a bit later. And also, I'm not touching that entire second dimension of what happens when you start with Bishop and already with 3 bars of power and how those fights go and any of that stuff. I'm not focusing on utility in this video. I'm focusing on damage. And damage seems to be similar so far, but we're going to get to that conclusion in a bit. So this once again is non-synergized Bishop, just randomly going up against Realm of Legends Winter Soldier. And yeah, we have that Incinerate buff, which is very nice and neat. Let's just keep on dropping our level 2s, slowly but surely. And let's just finish it off here with the last level 2, which, you know, did some good / decent damage. So 107 hits. So it is slightly faster, but that minuscule difference can easily be attributed to 1 hit more crit or 1 hit less crit or something like that. Now we're using a synergy team, exactly the same one that I used before, like White Magneto, just because some extra attack, I suppose. And then we have the Howard the Duck, Mangog, and Storm Pyramid X. So let's see what will the damage output be now. And with Storm Pyramid X synergy, you need to try to shoot your level 2s when the power gain is active, I believe. At least, at the very least, that is what I have been trying to do. So here we go. We have a very solid level 2. It seems like we have done slightly more damage. But let's just see how it goes when we end up. So previously it was like 71 hit. I believe it was 71 hit to finish this fight out previously. And now it's going to be 75. So it's pretty much exactly the same. Pretty much exactly the same damage out. I did record several of these fights because all of them, well, I don't know. I thought that I'm getting a bad crit RNG, stuff like that, but basically I used the same playstyle more or less, and that was always thereabouts the count. 70 something, 80 something. So this fight is 74 hits. So what we can deduce from that, damage output on Bishop has not changed in the slightest. On the surface level at the very least. Damage output might have changed for consecutive fights, as in like fight 2 and 3 and so on. If you finish like 3 bars of power, if you can immediately drop level 3 or something like that. But at its base, the damage output is, well, yeah, exactly the same as it was. However, there was another thing that I was intrigued by, and that was his level 1s. How potent are his level 1s with the Incinerates and how well that mechanic works. And that is exactly what I'm going to be doing here. Now, it's not going to be a perfect fight by any means, but we're going to be trying just to kind of like stay close, drop level 1s. Maybe we win a level 2 at any given point and just see what happens. And we can see that that Incinerate mechanic is kind of similar to Vision Arcus, basically. Just stay close to opponent and you're going to be stacking them. However, those Incinerates are quite short. They do not stack or stay up for a long time at all. And yeah, in most of the cases, you have like 2 Incinerates. I think max you can probably get up is 4. That's about it. You can quite easily have 100% uptime of that though, and that again gives him somewhat added utility by being able to consistently debuff the opponent or having Incinerates for pretty much majority of the duration on the opponent and stuff like that. But when it comes to actual damage, obviously because level 1 is multi-hit and it doesn't hit all that hard, we're gonna end up using 143 hits. So overall, I also think that there is a bug or very thought out interaction happening, because I did try out the synergy team with Bishop where he starts with 3 bars of power just to have that energy vulnerability on opponent for the entire fight, but it was still expiring, even though that's literally how I started the fight with a special 3. It was still expiring. Right, so I don't know exactly what's up with that interaction. Anyhow, when it comes to damage, the Bishop, nothing really has changed. That's slightly disappointing, even though damage was never Bishop's biggest problem. Hopefully, once I do play around more with Bishop, we can find more and better use for him, and the added mechanics kind of like still elevate him higher to where he was. But I am quite worried that it might not be enough, especially in mutant class. There is still a lot more testing to be done, and this is no quote-unquote death sentence for the buff or the champion at all by any means. But it is not a promising start. I'll give you that. Right, that being said, that is it for today's video, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information